to the Sugar and Spikes podcast, a show for everyone trying to navigate business and life without losing their minds. I'm Dez, a coach and consultant who is entirely overeducated, habitually overdressed, and obnoxiously honest.
And I'm Tammy. I'm a psychologist. Was I supposed to say more?
You know what? Enough said. We talk about mindset, mental health, and making it all work in the big, bad business world.
One quick note. We may be mental health professionals, but we're not your mental health professionals.
So, enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody.
Hi,
Oh my
everyone.
God.
Welcome to another episode of the Sugar and Spikes podcast.
You know who we are.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have a very important question. How's your skills closet going?
I love that idea.
I've been
I've been
obsessed with that
thinking
idea.
about it ever since we talked about it.
No, like I think like we need to develop this because it's so good, and we can talk about like how your skills are very connected to like your personal identity.
They are.
And your personal brand.
They are.
Like,
We've found it. This is like our thing.
yeah. Like, the fact that one of my more recent go-to skills has been kickboxing is completely on brand with, like, where I kind of am, right? And with the Sugar and Spikes brand.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, I mean, it's all interrelated.
Yep. So I hope everybody's kind of like trying all their stuff on, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't look flattering.
Exactly.
And getting rid of it.
And being okay with it.
Or reimagining it in a new way.
Oh, God, it totally works with the Marie Kondo thing because does it give you joy?
Oh, my gosh, it does.
Okay. Well, this episode is not about us talking about how brilliant.
It's not. Talking about our own amazingness.
I've been working on something recently, and I've been very proud of it. And I was showing it to people, and I was like, and here's one of my favorite parts, and here's another one of my favorite parts, and this is all things that I like. They're things that I've done, so it's like, and here's how awesome I am, and here. Also, I don't know if you saw this.
Did you see the start?
It's pretty awesome, right? I will say though, a year ago that wouldn't have been either of us.
It's true.
So growth.
Yeah.
But today, this episode, we are doing something a little different. I kind of want to say we're playing a game.
It
but we're not.
feels like it.
It feels a bit like a game.
I'm reluctantly participating.
I'm
in
so
this.
excited. Oh my God. So side story. There's another thing that I'm working on, and I totally messaged Tammy the other night, and I was like, I need your help with something.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not telling you.
I forgot about that.
Oh, and
we're not doing that today.
I need your help with something, but you don't get to find out what it is until you say yes.
I know. I was held hostage, but that's okay. Only for you.
Example 122 why I could not be a psychologist, because fuck informed consent. You're doing this whether you like it or not.
Right.
Okay, so the game.
Okay.
Going back to not informed consent.
Right.
I found a thing.
Okay.
Maybe. Hold on. Pause. Where did it go?
We were ready.
Here we go. Okay. I found a thing.
Okay.
And this harkens back to when we started season 2 and we were going to kind of be prepared a little bit, which we have been-ish.
Kind of. As best as we can.
We've been prepared adjacent.
Right.
But we were talking about what we're going to talk about this week. And I found something, and I was like, the title is 9 Phrases You'll Hear Effective Leaders Say to Inspire and Motivate Their Employees.
Okay.
Or we could cut it off before employees. 9 phrases you'll hear effective leaders say to inspire and motivate.
Okay.
Interesting, right? And I think we all want to be inspired and motivated.
Yeah.
But really, I I wanted to get Tammy's read on it.
Oh, no.
So she doesn't know this list. In fact, that's the first time she's heard the full title of the article, so there's no way she could know.
I don't.
I'm going to read each one, and we're going to get her raw, unfiltered, yet professional thoughts about each one. And I may chime in as well.
It would not surprise me if this episode never airs.
Oh, it's going to. This is gonna be bad. This is gonna be good. Okay. Number 1. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you have any rules about the do you have any questions about the rules?
I think I got it.
Okay. Number 1. I have good news and bad news.
How so inspiring.
Okay, so like the explanation paragraph opens with, why would this motivate, you ask? Their hypothesis is when people sweep things under the rug, that's essentially demotivating, and inspiring leaders tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Like, inspiring leaders like tell you how it is. So I have good news and bad news builds this relationship.
Okay, well, okay.
The closing sentence is, the fact that a leader can honestly and openly communicate both good and bad news goes a long way toward motivating people and winning their trust. I don't buy it.
But
it's like the corporate version of the compliment sandwich.
I mean, yes, you want a boss that's upfront and authentic with you, but how is it when he uses some cliche line like, I have good news and bad news? Like, the last time someone said that to me, I'm just like, okay, just tell me the bad news. I don't care about the other thing. Just tell me.
I mean, the thing is whenever anybody uses that, no one gets through that sentence without laughing. Like, it changes and everyone's like, all right, let's do this.
Right?
I mean, I guess
or
it
it's
kind of
just
sets
like,
the tone.
or it's just like, for me, I'm just like, okay, just tell me the bad news. Because all you're really trying to do is soften the blow. So, like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't find it motivating when someone says that to me.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think the concept of sharing and transparency, I'm all for that.
100%. But I think, like, framing it up in such a cliched manner,
I know,
is
like,
maybe not the best.
Saying?
So yeah, I don't. Okay, on a scale, we'll rate these.
Oh no.
On a scale of 1 to 10, from super inspiring to completely demotivating, what would you give I have good news and bad news?
Like a 2. Like, just tell me the bad news. We obviously, like, are going down that path.
I'm a little more rose-colored. Like, I'm wearing those rose-colored glasses. I'd give it like a 4.
Really?
It's somewhat, yeah. Well, because I'm thinking about times when I've heard this, and the good news piece is always okay, so there's like a next step and there's like a way forward, and the bad news is often like a challenge, and how do we overcome that?
Oh, that's not how it's been in my life.
So it's not like the medical, I have good news and bad news.
Right?
It's well, here's the shitty thing, but also, how do we move forward? But that's what I like about business, is because there's always a way. Like, there's always a way to, like, move forward.
I love that piece.
Yeah.
Say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's the challenge, but okay. Anyway, so you said 2. I said 4. Okay. Number 2. Here's what's really going on and what this means for you.
See, that I like.
It's better. It is so much better than I have good news and bad news.
Yeah.
Because, like, it sounds like you're in it with them.
You're in it. You're going to be very specific. You're going to say, you're going to be honest, truthful, and upfront.
You know you're getting action steps.
Yep.
Like, here's what this means.
I like that.
It's good.
Yep.
Okay. Scale of 1 to 10.
7.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right around a 7 too. 'Cause,
I
like,
may reframe that if I don't like the rest of them, and then I'll go back and
it's
give it
the best!
I'll give it the best score. But I'm hesitant. I'm like the
Mhm.
Olympic judge at
Mhm,
the beginning.
mhm.
Like you gotta
Yep.
wait and see and leave room
Mhm.
for better things.
I mean, I think it speaks to this level of openness and honesty
Mhm.
and collaboration, but also, like, the and what this means for you shows that there's someone else looking out for you.
And they're invested in you.
Exactly, like,
Yep.
that the and what this means for you piece ties directly to the leadership element,
Mhm.
versus the, like, team member collaboration piece, but the fact that someone's coming to you and saying, "Here's the situation," and that shows they've thought about your role,
Yeah.
and that feels good when someone else is, like, thinking about how you play into everything,
Mhm.
like, yeah.
You feel valuable. Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we agree. 7-ish.
Yeah.
Number 3. I'm not quite sure which direction to go. What would you do in my situation? They can't see your face.
I'm trying to put it into a context. Say it again.
So I'll read it and then so the statement is I'm not quite sure which direction to go. What would you do in my situation? Do you want me to read the explanation paragraph?
No.
Okay.
So it depends on how this is being used, but I think for a leader to solicit your opinion means they value your input.
Mhm.
So, um, I like that. I like that they would think, hey, what I have to offer is valuable enough that they're going to use it to help me make a decision.
Mhm.
Or not help me make a decision, or help them make a decision. Whatever I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
No.
mean? Yeah.
It shows respect. It's them kind of like opening up to their humanity. I was debating
Yeah.
between humanness or humanity.
Yeah.
Um, and again, it's that relationship building piece.
Yeah.
Like,
So I like that.
yeah, I think there's this often misunderstood piece around leadership where leadership needs to be or like the perception is leadership needs to be like super inspiring,
Mhm.
but really leadership boils down to a relationship.
Mhm.
Like if someone is going to follow you to the ends of the earth, it is because of a relationship.
Yep.
If someone is going to help you hide the body without any questions, it is because of a relationship.
Right.
It is not because they told you this dream of a like ideal land or situation and you're so bought in. Like it's
Yeah.
not about this big picture thing. It's about human to human connection.
Yeah.
And I like number 3 really kind of speaks to that.
Yeah. In a
So,
very different way than the one before,
mhm.
Because I think that question number 3 shows like a vulnerability on the part of the leader.
Oh, 100% cuz it's them acknowledging like
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I think back to teachers that we had or
Mhm.
professors that we had, and the ones that I found the most that I connected with the
Mhm.
best were the ones that were the most vulnerable, like in appropriate
Yeah.
ways, but like were the most vulnerable and
Mhm.
like, hey, like that's happened to
Yeah.
me, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite quotes from a professor is her this is like speaking in regards to like theology and stuff. Like this quote is needs context. Someone was like, "What about the time when Jesus said blah blah blah?" And she's like, "We don't know. I don't know what he said. You don't know what he said. No one knows what he said."
Yeah.
And it's just like this ownership of we really have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, and that it's such a it's such an interesting play on developing trust because it's something people are going to connect with so fast.
Well, I think it kind of like levels that hierarchy, that idea
Uh-huh.
of um like vertical hierarchy in an organization.
Mhm.
So it kind of like brings that down to more level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like how I'm not very
Yeah.
eloquent today, but yeah.
And well, it's someone stepping down from like the podium
Yeah.
and sitting next to you, you
Yes.
know?
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. So I
Mhm.
like that.
Okay. Oh. I shouldn't like I shouldn't color in.
You're like, oh, it's the worst.
Okay, scale of 1 to 10. I would say I would
No,
say
you
I
go.
would let you
No, you
rate
go
it
first.
first.
You go first.
I would say 7 for different reasons,
Yeah,
like
same.
equally as inspiring.
Yep, but for a totally different reason. Yep.
Yep. Okay, number 4. Ask me anything.
No.
No.
Don't fall. It's a trap.
It's useless. Like if there's one thing that I have learned,
Mm-mm.
it is people need any sort of guidance.
Mm-mm.
So if that were to be changed to ask me anything about the task, ask me anything about the business goals, ask me anything about what I did Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, cool. But ask me anything?
No.
No.
No. It just, to me, it feels like a trap.
Yeah.
It just does.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't like that. No. Boo.
So this comes from HubSpot. And for those that don't know, that are living under a rock, or Tammy, HubSpot is the global digital
Hey.
marketing. Did you know what HubSpot
No.
was?
Fucking call me out for that.
But their CTO posted something called Ask Me or Ask Our Mesh. So that's the CTO. Ask Our Mesh anything. And that's exactly what HubSpot supporters did, engaging in a slew of discussions directly with their CTO. I guess it opens up a conversation for, like, they're saying it opens up, like, criticism and creates transparency. I call bullshit on it. It's a PR play at best if you're doing it on a broad scale.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it like
I'm like,
one-to-one,
okay, so it's like a Reddit Ask Me Anything, right? Like, okay. Like,
but it's PR that anybody with half a brain can see through.
right.
Like,
That's not authentic.
no.
That's not even what I was thinking about.
Mm-mm.
I was thinking about if, like, no.
Yeah,
Even
like,
on a one-on-one personal level,
like,
it doesn't work for.
it's stupid. Not that I'm one to call anything stupid, but it's stupid. Like, I feel like I'm a 12-year-old boy. That's dumb.
That's dumb.
What do you think would be a positive replacement for that?
Well, I like what you talked about, like, ask me anything about this task. Tell me about your concerns, like, anything that you're thinking about. Like, I like that invitation for openness.
Yes.
And dialogue and collaboration. I don't like it that way.
Yeah.
It just feels fake and trappy and, like, I don't know. I don't like it.
I think that especially with leadership and team building and stuff, needing to communicate an element of transparency is essential.
Yeah.
But there are about 100 different ways to do it besides something like that.
Yeah.
And I think, like, transparency really comes up in conversations. I think it comes up in procedures, like with a company you work for. Like, if we're talking, like, ask me anything and things that aren't necessarily talked about, like, you guys have very clear, like, salary, like, disclosures and stuff. Like, everyone knows what everyone makes or, like, what the jobs make.
Right.
I think that setting up transparency is 100% doable.
Not that way.
Just not that way.
Don't do it that way, folks. Not that way. Because true relationship building isn't like this. Look how I'm so open. It's like a demonstration of open. Like, this feels like not an authentic demonstration of openness to me.
And you can still get away with, like, shading things, right? Like, ask me anything. Watch how I dance
didn't answer that question. Yeah.
It's such a lawyer play.
I know.
Lawyers, we love you.
Well, we do.
Yeah.
We had one on the show. He was great.
So great. But it's, okay, scale of 1 to 10. Like, we need to stop, like,
we have to stop scaling
this
these.
in.
It's terrible.
Oh, I was gonna say we need to stop complaining about number 4. Like,
Okay,
people get that.
Move on.
No, but scale of 1 to 10.
Like a 1.
Yeah. Yeah, just that. Yeah. Again, 12-year-old boy. That's stupid.
You don't think was this the one where people are like, people can't see your face?
Yeah.
That was my reaction. Like, what? Okay. Move on.
Number 5. I need you to improve. Here's what's working well.
Yeah, I like that. So I need you to improve. Here's what you're doing well. So you don't like
Mhm.
pick those things to change. Like, I'm going to give you all the things that you're doing really well, and
Yeah.
then you're going to change these things.
It's like a better version of number 1.
Yeah. So much better.
And I would say the difference is it's specific,
Yep.
you know? Because it's very targeted.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the breaking news, y'all. That's one of the essential pieces of communication is like being specific and being clear. Like,
Well, it's like step 1 of goal setting.
yeah, like,
Like, be specific.
well, and stop leaving it up to
Yeah.
interpretation and I don't know. It's interesting because we're all about like room for gray, but with communication, like it's that explicitness.
Well, there's lots of ways to be
Yeah.
specific, you know, and how
Mhm.
that can look. But if you're asking someone or you're talking about performance improvement,
Mhm.
they're already freaking out.
Yeah.
So, like, what you can do is to say, these are the things you're doing really, really well.
Mhm.
How can you build on those to fix XYZ?
Exactly.
Right?
And I think in terms of leadership and inspiring stuff, it's and like managing people because leaders manage people,
Right.
right? Like you supervise folks and
Hmm.
stuff like that. It's noticing that, get giving people an opportunity to step up and maybe simultaneously, depending on the situation, shifting things to better capitalize on strengths and taking away like pieces that aren't their strengths.
Right.
So like, yeah, if you notice someone's like really solid in something, giving them more of that and taking away other pieces and shifting, like having this bigger conversation
Hmm. I agree.
around what's working and what's not, like a one-on-one and at like a team level.
Yeah.
So from 1 to 10.
8.
Oh,
I
I
like action steps, and I also like it's easier for me so I don't feel like I'm kind of like taking shots in the dark
mhm,
to say, okay, they have identified things I do really well because I tend to run
mhm,
anxious. So, like, if you're going to tell me that there's things I need to fix,
mhm,
helping me to not hear that as you're the worst
mhm.
is something I need. Like, I
So
just know for that personally for
So I
myself.
think that that's where like we differ because I'm like, oh, I'd give this like a 4 or 5 because the I need you to improve statement. Like if someone were to say that to me, like I need you to be better, I would shut down very fast because it's like I've tried my best and that's not good enough. And so all I hear is like the I'm not good enough piece.
Yeah.
Whereas like the other things that we've talked about, like here's what's going on and here's what this means for you, like that's more of a bigger picture and I can interpret and like extrapolate, okay, so that's my role. Like I can do that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be put on the defensive. So that would like work better. Whereas the I need you to, you
Well,
know?
I need you to improve. Like, I hear that as you're the worst.
Exactly.
But then they follow it up with, here are the things you're doing well. And then it's part of a greater conversation. I mean, nobody just says, hey, I need you to improve, like you're really good at XYZ and walks off.
Nah,
It's
I'll
it's
challenge that one.
it's the beginning of well, good leaders, right?
Yeah.
It's the beginning of a conversation.
Mhm.
And like in my field, we have supervision all the time.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be things that you can improve and work
Mhm.
on. Like if people observe you, like they live
Mhm.
observe you, they're like, oh, you did this really well. And I would have done XYZ here.
Mhm.
So that's like this in
Mhm. Yeah.
practice. So I'm used to hearing it a lot.
I think that if it were flipped, like here's what's going well and here's what could be better,
Oh, yeah.
I
But
would.
that's kind of how I hear that.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe it's just because I'm looking at it and it's
Maybe.
like anyway. Yeah. So, you know what? I will give it a 4 to 7 depending on.
Okay. We're not going to rate them anymore.
I like the ratings.
People are going to be like, this is a throwaway episode.
This is a really good episode if I do say so myself.
Okay.
Um Especially for people that are like building a team and stuff.
That's true.
Like
Changed my perspective.
yeah. I couldn't have done it without you.
Really?
We have very differing opinions on that.
I mean, uh, okay, give your opinion.
I couldn't have done it without you says, like, you had direct influence in something. And,
I
like,
hear it in this, like, I couldn't have done it without you. Moving on. That's
oh,
how I hear it. That's the voice I hear it in. That's how I'm hearing it. Obviously, not informed by my experiences or anything.
yeah. I think that someone using those words, like, it takes humility. It takes them, like, knowing their strengths, and it acknowledges your unique role in a team.
So I don't agree. I don't like the words. I like the sentiment.
Yeah.
Right? But this
Mhm.
is the idea of like it's not so black and white, right? And we're
Mhm.
all informed by previous experience.
Exactly.
So if that's like a hey, couldn't have done it without you, moving on,
Mhm.
like it's just like a shitty like add a girl and like move on.
I feel like those words are, like, so specific that it wouldn't come up unless it was something a bit meaningful, and I think I would hypothesize if someone actually said that to you, you'd be like, "Oh, that's nice." Like, you'd have this, like, moment of, like, warm
What
fuzzies.
makes you think that nobody said it to me before?
I mean, like,
And maybe that's why I don't like it.
fair. Yeah. Okay. I'll stop talking now. Which is perfect for a podcast. But you're right, it does, like, tie back to the communication is blurry, and it is informed by, like, our own.
I just say I don't like specifics. I'm like, just be authentic.
Mhm.
The ones that I connect with in here
Mhm.
feel authentic to me.
Yeah.
Those words, those specific words
Mhm.
do not feel authentic to
Yeah.
me. I like the idea of saying someone was so invaluable that they were really the reason the project got done,
Mhm.
that their input was vital. Like, right? It's all
Yeah.
different ways of saying the same thing. I
Mhm.
don't like those specific words, but the authenticity of it, I do connect with and do like.
Yeah. I will say, like, the ones that both of us have connected with quite well have been, like, the both sides, like, someone, like, sharing a piece of their perspective
Yeah.
and connecting with the other person in the conversation. I couldn't have done it without you is very much one-sided.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? Okay, because the focus is on the leader. Like, I couldn't have, and yeah, that's not so great.
Yeah.
Okay, I changed my vote.
Okay.
I give it a eh. I give it a middle ground.
Okay.
Um, let's see.
I mean, I hope that this isn't just like Dez and Tammy critique the internet and it's like
I
pe-
mean, Des and Tammy critique the internet could be a whole other podcast.
but people have some takeaways in here that are really valuable to them. I
Mhm.
think the things that we can come back to over and over is connection,
Mhm.
authenticity, humility, vulnerability, all the
Word
itties.
like, well, and the fact that words matter and knowing the person that you're talking to,
Yeah.
like having an idea around how they'll respond to things.
Well, and as a leader, if you think about it, it's your job to know those things about your team.
Mhm.
It's your job to know that Angie over there runs a little bit anxious. And so the
Mhm.
way you have to approach her is different than somebody who's like super matter of fact and blunt and
Mhm.
like, just tell me and I'll blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, right? Like those are different people. They have different points of view. They
Mhm.
approach things in a different way.
Mhm.
And so conversations with them have to be managed differently.
Mhm.
But that's really all about like this idea of the role psychology plays in
Mhm.
leadership,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and that's why, like, that was why I fell in love with the Fast at 5 is because it connects to, like, the working style and gives managers and stuff those key takeaways and, like, here's how to connect with Jane Doe
Right.
and stuff like that. So then, you know, like, I've taken the Fast at 5 and my response, like, I looked at the, like, here's how to motivate Desiree. I'm like, yep. not that difficult.
Right, but I think probably you and I are motivated in different ways by different
100%.
things, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so I
Mhm.
think even just the two of us it's a really good takeaway that like I couldn't have done it without you would be great for you, not so great for me. I would have
Mhm.
been like kind of like great, thanks.
Yeah.
Like and so knowing your people
Mhm.
is really important.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, 3 more.
Okay.
Okay. Number 7. That was clearly a mistake.
And like don't again, it's missing a piece.
The concept around this is essentially just as a leader owning up to the fact that you messed up.
Oh, if the leader is saying clearly like I made a mistake. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I like that, right?
Mhm.
Because it shows okay, they're not going to like push that off on the team. They're not going to
Mhm.
push it off on someone else. They're going to say, "Hey, I messed up. I'm going to fix it."
See? Okay. Like, this is such a good example because this is my version of I couldn't have done it without you, because I've heard so many times I messed up,
Mhm.
and I got to the point with, like, folks in leadership roles and stuff where I'm like, "Yeah, like, you can say you own it, but it doesn't do anything unless you change it."
Right.
You know? Like, I don't care if someone's like, "I screwed up." I'm like, "Show me you understand."
But I've had good experiences
Mhm,
with
mhm.
people above me saying, I messed up and I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah.
So it's interesting. Like, that one, I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that is my
That is your
throwaway."
throwaway.
Yeah, that's my I don't care unless I see something from
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's
Interesting.
fascinating to me.
Okay.
Okay.
So I would give that like a 1.5 with an eye roll.
That's what I'm going to give him the other one.
Like I can't tell you how much that sentiment just makes me disconnect from somebody where I'm like, I've stopped caring about this conversation. I just like, if it's a mistake that you did, then show me that you have changed.
Right.
Like, show me the actions.
We've had very different lives.
Yeah.
Okay. I would give it like a 4.
Oh.
I mean, it's not like the most amazing thing I've ever heard. I like the idea of saying, hey,
Mhm.
that, whoops,
Yeah.
you know. But then again, I have been fortunate, at least in the recent past, the people that come to mind as I think of this statement,
Mhm.
who like then took steps to fix it,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know? Okay.
Okay. Number 8. What do you need from me? That's not a good tone to read it, but like,
Yeah.
what do you need from me? What can I do for you? None of these are coming out right because people have asked me that, and it has sounded way better than the way it sounds right now.
I mean, I like the idea of how can I help you to be your most productive self?
Mhm.
I like the idea of like what pieces do you need from me in order to accomplish the things that I've asked you to do?
Mhm.
I don't like the way you said them.
I know. I can't, like, I think it's because I'm like focused on the tone. I can't.
You're like, so what do you need from me?
Well, like, is
I
there?
heard it.
I know. I can't fix it.
I'm just like nothing.
How can I? Like, this just sounds like I'm like back at Disney again. But like, how can I help you? Like, I don't know.
I don't like being put on the spot like that necessarily, though,
Mhm.
either. Like, so I've said this many times. I need to consider things.
Uh huh.
I need to think them through,
Mhm.
and I will get back to you.
Yeah.
So, like, if somebody asks me those things in the moment,
Mhm.
I kind of freeze.
Yeah.
So I would prefer something like, "Here's what we're doing.
Mhm.
Think about what you need from me,
Mhm.
and go do that.
Yeah.
And then let me know within the next XYZ time."
Mhm.
I like that better.
Yeah.
But there are people
Mhm.
who don't need that time.
I love to meet them.
I know, but they
Actually, I know those people, and, like, I'm mesmerized by them.
right? Me too.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I want to be like that.
Like, they can just say things on the spot. Like, how do you do
I
that?
know, I can't do that.
Like, I realized one of my go-to answers for anything is, "I need some time to think about that."
Yeah, like give me a minute.
Yeah.
Yep. Like,
Yeah. I think the idea of, like, "What do you need from me?" or, like, "How can I help you?" I like I would say I give it more credit than that was a mistake, or that was clearly my mistake. I give it more points, but it's definitely one of those where if I hear it once or twice and nothing comes of it,
yeah.
then I don't care.
But then again, we're back to that
Mhm.
idea of authenticity
Mhm.
and how if a leader is just like, let me know what you need, and then you let them know and they never get it to you, and
Mhm.
then, or like, you never hear from them and
Yeah.
you keep checking, but you're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
whatever. So clearly that's not really what you mean.
Mhm.
And so you just write it off and figure out how to work around it or how to get it from someone else or whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
But like, I think these statements without the stuff behind it,
Mhm.
all the itties that we talked about, like,
Yeah.
they're kind of meaningless.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, overall, like, words are words, and they're nothing if there are no actions.
Yeah.
No matter how inspiring, like, a sentiment may be.
Yeah.
Like, you lose that inspiration if there's no follow through.
Mhm.
Um, I think that it does show, like, a level of service, and
I agree with that.
the first form of leadership that I really learned about was, like, servant leadership.
Mhm.
Um, so that connects with
Yeah.
this idea of, like, I'm here, like, for the team,
Yeah.
and that I would say would be, like, a cornerstone piece of the way that, like, I develop, like, my leadership style.
Mhm.
Um, so cool.
Last one.
It's alright. Last one. We've stopped numbering them. Um, I don't know what I would give
Well,
that
there
because it
were 9.
depends. Mm,
Yeah, it depends. Okay, we're gonna go with our answer.
okay, so number 9. Last one. I trust you.
Do they really? So I have had people say that to me, and it's felt really good.
Mhm.
And I've had people say that to me, and I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
So, enter repeat conversation that we just had 5
About, like,
minutes
the
ago here.
actions?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Like, are you gonna say you trust me
oof.
and then micromanage me? Because I've had that
Yeah.
happen, you
Uh-huh.
know? And I'm like, don't do that.
And I would say saying "I trust you" and then entering into a micromanagement working style does 10 times the harm
Yeah.
than saying, "I'm going to be on your back."
Yeah. Or like,
Like,
this is really important and I'm gonna be with you every step of the way and
yeah.
monitoring you very closely, and this is why.
Yeah.
But to tell me you trust me and then to have this super hands-on I don't like that.
No.
Mm-mm.
Like, which I would say for all of these is I would say that, like, the most inspiring thing you could say is whatever your actions are going to back up.
Yeah. 'Cause that's a mixed message, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, I
It's
trust you,
crazy making.
and then I micromanage the shit out of you, so now I'm confused. Do you trust me? Then why are you micromanaging me? Can I
Mhm.
even bring this to you and talk to you about it? Because
Mhm.
obviously you don't trust me, so you're just saying that you do, so really you're not honest, so I'm not gonna go talk to you because maybe
Yeah.
you're like, it just leads you down a path of no good,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, think of all the things I just said in the
Yeah.
last 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, that's not totally unreasonable.
Now, if we assume for a moment that when someone says I trust you and backs it up with the lack of micromanagement and the freedom that is found in that sentiment for whatever the project or task may be,
Yeah.
then that is quite possibly one of the most empowering
Yep.
things anyone could do. Like, I think of times when, like, you and I have talked about stuff that like your supervisor has said and been like, go do this. I trust you with it.
Mhm.
I've had those experiences where it's like, all right, let's see. And it's like a learning.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it's so good because then it's it furthers the relationship because there's like that check-in point of, well, how did it go and what went well, what did like it's
Well, and it I think from like like not org development, but like from in terms of developing workforce,
mhm,
developing your people,
yeah.
this does more to do that
Mhm.
because it develops people's confidence,
Mhm.
their sense of being able to accomplish things,
Mhm.
and knowing that their boss
Mhm.
places trust in them.
Well, and if you do trust them, it frees you up to do other things.
Yeah,
So then more gets done.
right. Because you
And
don't have to worry about
and
it.
that moves everything forward.
Right.
So I mean, really, and this ties into so many other like organizational theories. But like
Which I've been studying, by the way.
I'm shocked. Um Licenture's gonna get
I
ya.
know.
Meanwhile, this was the stuff that I lived and breathed for
I
3
know. And
years.
I'm just like, oh, I'm studying it for my licensing exam.
Um,
Go ahead. Sorry.
it is the foundation, especially in the initial stages of team growth.
Yeah.
Like, which is one of the weirdest things I've had to learn coming out from like in the shift from clinical work to being in a startup like over the last few years, right? Like it's there's a professional relationship and at the heart of it, it's a human
Yeah.
connection that requires a level of trust.
Yeah.
And you can be as professional as you want to be, but if you don't have that connection, nothing's going to happen. And if you do have that connection, then you can move mountains.
Yeah.
You know?
Like that whole thing that like people don't leave shitty jobs, they leave shitty bosses.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like,
100%.
so, I mean, that even speaks even more to that relationship,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. And going back to the like building that relationship to either follow someone to the ends of the earth or to have someone follow you.
Hmm.
You know, it comes from trust.
Yeah.
So, I would say that if it is backed by actions, I would give it like a 8 or a 9.
Same.
So,
So there you have it.
all
Tell
right.
people you trust them, but only if you
Only if you
do.
actually do.
Only if you do.
And if not, own it.
Yeah.
This is really important. There's a lot at stake and here's how I will be like checking in.
Yeah, because then they know what to expect.
Exactly. Like that's the biggest piece.
Yep.
Because that builds more trust than saying I
I
trust you and not,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
Um so yeah.
So, been a long one.
Mhm.
I hope it was valuable.
I thought it was good. It was fun. We
Yeah.
should do this again.
Okay.
Also, you know what? I couldn't have done this episode without you.
Oh.
All right, bye guys.
Bye, friends.